The willing volunteer. This provides you with insight into the blame-shifting mechanism of our narcissism that always enables us to nullify any threat to our control as a consequence of placing the blame elsewhere. And in this example, I articulate for you essentially how the narcissism regards your position within the situation of moving from the golden period of idealization to when you're being devalued, and how blame is always placed upon you. Blame must be rejected by us because any sense of accountability threatens our control, and, as you are aware, control is one of the prime aims that must be obtained by the narcissist. Obtained and maintained. And therefore blame-shifting forms a key ingredient in our manipulative repertoire to ensure that we either assert control over you or we assert control through the nullification of any threat to our control that you are perceived to pose towards us. It is a recognized truth that we select you. The unaware of our kind do so instinctively. The aware of our kind do so through a mixture of instinct and calculation. We are able to sense the empathy that flows from you, and our sights become locked on to you. We move in, and through a combination of our experience at recognizing your kind, and, in some instances, the application of subtle and informed questioning, we are able to establish whether you will fulfill our needs and cater to the prime aims of control, of fuel, character traits, and residual benefits. Should the answer to that essential question be yes, and invariably it is when it comes to our kind, as we do not often get it wrong when we first target someone, then our narcissism unleashes all of our seductive maneuvers and manipulative charm, in varying amounts, to ensure that you are ensnared, to ensure that you become controlled, that we can drink of the precious lifeblood that you provide to us that is fuel, that we commandeer your character traits, and that we appropriate those residual benefits too. Invariably, the love bombing begins, and we look to bind you to us, controlling you in each moment as we continue to control you in an overarching manner of binding you to us in a formal relationship. We wrap our tendrils about you and hold you close as our claws sink into your flesh, our hooks drive deep into your soul, and the fuel lines are attached to you, and thus the invasion has commenced and the conquering continues and the extraction begins. You, of course, could shoulder no blame when this happens. You're unlikely to know what one of us is. You often see the warning signs, but the presence of your emotional thinking, driven by your own addiction, causes you to fail to recognize what they actually signify. The red flags will flutter, but often you just think how beautiful they look. The klaxons blare, but they cannot be heard above the noise of our silky honeyed words which pour into your ears. You may be fortunate enough to have somebody in your support network who knows exactly what we are, but that is unusual. But even then, when they try to explain, when they utilize their empathic nature, their kind and thoughtful explanations, they invariably fail to dissuade you from continuing the interaction with us. How can they succeed when you are being made to feel like a queen or king? How can they when we are giving you everything that you believe that you have ever wanted? How can they when your soulmate has just appeared and swept you close to us? You smile and you nod and you thank them for their concern, but you will dismiss it, and especially when we tell you that they are to be ignored, that they are only envious of what you and I have, that they want to cause trouble, that they are trying to interfere, that they don't like the fact that we are happy and they are not. we will tell you that we've seen people react like this before, which of course is a truth. And we explain it with such conviction that you, as a combination of this manipulation and the presence of your own emotional thinking, believe us. You are a sitting target. You anticipate nothing of what is to come, and therefore, how can you be blamed at all? You don't know what we are. Our seduction is invariably impossible to resist, and ultimately, why would you want to spurn this opportunity of a lifetime? Your ensnaring is a given, and therefore it is blameless in that regard for you. Yet after this, when the glow of the golden period fades, and what was once shiny becomes tarnished and dull, when those sweet words have become barbed and thorny, when the lustre has gone and the brilliance has been diverted to a more deserving appliance, this is when we say that you are culpable. You made us do this to you. You are no fool, although you cannot work out why we switch back and forth in the blink of an eye with regard to our behaviour, although you cannot fathom out why we lie and lie and lie, although you are unable to comprehend why we show such rank hypocrisy, crass contradiction, and sheer contrariness. You know that you are being badly treated. That much you can see. You know that our words are harsh and hurtful. You know that our disappearances are unwarranted and leave you upset and worried. You recognize that our repeated taking, our ignoring of your needs, and our calculated and systematic tirades are indeed abusive. Yet there is so much of our behavior during this devaluation that is insidious and designed by our narcissism to be as such. Much of our manipulations continue without you actually appreciating that they are happening or their full effect. But everyone knows that they are being shouted out and called names as abusive. Everybody knows that the broker's promise to call you or to meet you is unfair and unnecessary. Everybody knows that cheating on you is wrong. You do recognize that many of these behaviors towards you are unpleasant and abusive, yet, despite this recognition, what do you do? Do you walk? Do you get out and stay out? No, you stay. You are picked up and put down, treated as the other woman or the other man, a convenience, an afterthought, always coming second. You are treated as the appliance that we see you are, to be used when it suits us, and pushed to one side when someone else proves of greater interest by coming upon our radar. You see this happen, and you put up with it. You know that we flirt with other people, and seem to have a string of relationships which have never quite finished somehow. There's always somebody hanging around, somebody that we're getting in touch with from our past. You see these other people vying for our time, and you resent that. Notwithstanding how badly we treat you, you do not want them to be the recipients of the golden largesse that you know that we are capable of. You want it for yourself. Thus you remain, trying to keep them at bay, fighting further battles with these other members of the coterie, most likely unaware that this is triangulation upon triangulation upon triangulation, imposed by our need to assert control upon you. You end up making excuse after excuse for our rotten behaviour. You trot these excuses out to your friends who look on with weary faces, with eyes rolling, tedium ascending as they have to listen to, yet again, another diatribe of our litany of misbehaviours. You tell these excuses to yourself as you sit sobbing after another violent outburst. He is tired, he is stressed, he has a lot on at work. If I tried just that bit harder, I know I can help him. If I can just make him see what he is doing to me, I know we can work things out. I just want to help, I just want to fix, I just want to heal. I just want to cure whatever ill it is that is eating away at him and making him someone that he is not. I know deep down he must be a good person. I have seen it with my own eyes. The excuses come thick and fast and frequent. You clothe the abuse in these excuses, driven by your own emotional thinking, seeking to make the abhorrent behaviour seem more acceptable, as you continue to hang on in there, in the hope that today, of all days, that we will give you another dose of the golden period. Occasionally it will happen, and you are elated. All becomes well in the world, and you knew that your fortitude, your perseverance, would bear a reward. Everything is well again. You can breathe. You can relax. Or can you? Only you can achieve this, not those other harpies that hang around us still. Why do they hang around so much? What are they waiting for? Why do we continue to indulge them? You do not want to say something for fear of us turning against you and losing that golden period, but you are not pleased by the presence of these hangers-on. You bask in the golden light once again, but soon it fades once more. This cycle continues, but you do not depart, you do not leave, and instead you remain driven by the false mistress that is hope, that we will pick you and spend time with you. You hang on in there in the hope of picking the lucky ticket, which means that you experience our apparent brilliance once again. You will do anything to gain our attention and our golden love once more. You will sacrifice your self-esteem, your confidence, your friends, your family, your job, your children, your money, your looks, and your health, just for the prospect of feeling that golden, delicious love once again. But you often do not even realize that you are doing that, because of the insidious salami-slicing nature of our manipulations and your own addiction to us. Just like a hopeless addict, everything else will be given up for that fix of us, and when you are in the maelstrom it, you do not even realize that you are doing it. Or, even if you happen to notice, you simply no longer care. You know how bad we are for you, yet you remain. And we say, you cannot blame us for that. You cannot blame us for the fact that we treat you this way, and you remain. Our blame-shifting of our narcissism says, despite all of the things that we do, the fact is that you remain, and thus you, driven by your own emotional thinking, powering your addiction to us, you become a willing volunteer.